Hello everyone, my name is Rajesh Chatterjee, and this playlist that we have started, we are actually trying to learn what is called integration in Salesforce, and this is one of the very important things that we do as a Salesforce developer, right? Because most of the integration job that you cannot do through configurations, right? Though in now like current release Salesforce flows have launched the way we can do inbound outbound integration also from there, but like the basic level, right? When you have a very complex scenario to perform, right, this is where you have to write code and make the integration happen. So for a developer, it's very important to know what is integration, how to do it, right? So last couple of videos, what we have learned is what is standard API, what is basically called API or web service, how to consume the standard API through Postman, and how to get the standard API, right? And we got familiar with Postman and how to use it, right? So this video is going to be a little detailed one, and we are going to do a kind of a project in this video. This project that we are going to do, it will help you to learn doing the integrations end to end. All right, so I'm going to take a scenario here and we'll try to solve that particular scenario with Salesforce Apex coding. All right, so let's get back to my screen. So for the scenario, what we have chosen is we have created two different Salesforce org. Okay, one is called source org, one is called destination org. I do not have a third-party system which I can do an integration with Salesforce. So what I have done is I have created two org. One is called source org, one is called destination org. Now this is my destination org, right? If you can see the the URL name I have given is called destination org 2. Okay, and I have another org that I have signed up called source org, right? So the scenario that we are going to perform now is, we will do an end-to-end integration between this source Salesforce org and destination Salesforce org. And because I don't have any third-party system, we are using both as a Salesforce system, right? Now let's go step by step. Okay, let's go step by step. When you say integration, when you say you're doing integration between these two Salesforce org, what exactly you are doing? So let's say whenever the scenario is this, okay, we will understand the scenario first, business example first, and then step by step we'll try to learn how to implement it. And once you learn this particular process, how to implement it, any integration work, at least you'll be able to write code and you'll be able to do it by yourself, any kind of integration work. Okay, so this video is going to be a little longer, so I'm gonna divide this into like 10 minutes of video. So the first one goes like this. The scenario, as per the scenario, what we're gonna do is we are going to integrate Salesforce source org with the destination org such a way so that whenever a lead gets created here, whenever a lead gets created in the source org, it should be transferred to, the same lead data should be created in the destination org as well. Got it? The lead that you have created in source org, which is being created in the destination org as well, what you'll do is we'll just update that lead. Maybe we'll update the company name or last name, whatever. The moment you update that lead in the source org, the same thing will be updated in the destination org, right? And when you delete that particular org or particular lead data from Salesforce source org, the same thing will happen in your destination org. Okay, so this is what the scenario is. Now we are going to write code and implement this end to end and show you like how you can do this end to end integration, like create here, it will be created here also, update here, delete here, right? So this is called basically integration through REST API, right? So in my previous video I have shown you what is called REST API and what is basically standard REST API. What do you mean by standard REST API? Standard REST API are those API given by Salesforce, correct? But for this particular scenario, we are going to use custom REST API, meaning we as a developer first of all will write that API, will write the REST API, and then we'll come to the source org to consume it. Understood, right? So see the process is this, okay? Don't just look into this write up first, right? Let me just explain the processes. When you say source and destination, from one org you're sending the data to another org. From one org you're sending the instruction to another org, correct? So in order to do that, which org you think, source or destination, which org you think should give us the API, should expose the web service, source or destination? destinations. You are trying to send the data from source to destination. So in this case, definitely your destination Salesforce org will provide you the API, right? Let's say we are integrating with Salesforce and ERP. I explained this same thing in the last video, right? That when I try to send the data from Salesforce to your ERP system, your ERP system is supposed to give the API to Salesforce to consume, so that the Salesforce system can consume the API and send the data whatever they want. Correct? So in this case, I don't have a ERP system, so the destination org, which is again a Salesforce org, supposed to provide us the REST API. And what I said is we are not going to use the standard one. So I'm going to show you what and how to create a custom API, custom REST API. So first thing that we are going to do is we will learn the custom Apex class, like how to create a custom Apex class to create a REST API. Got it? And the next thing is what? Once you create the REST API, we have to do a testing through Postman. Understood, right? The API that you have written in the developer in the destination org, whether it's correct, whether it's giving the correct response or not. What do you mean by response? Response means whenever you're sending the data to create, it should create the data and give the ID. Whenever you're updating the data in the destination org, it should update the data and give us the ID. Correct? That's called response basically. Right? So, whether the API that you have created is giving the correct response or not, how do you get to know? You have to consume the created API through Postman. So the next step is what? We will first learn the Apex code to create a REST API. Then we will learn how to consume that API right from your Postman, right? And once you see that it's giving you a proper response, right? Then the next thing is what? We have to write an Apex code in the source org. So source org will consume the REST API provided by destination org. How can you consume? You again have to write an Apex class. So once we're done with the Postman testing, what we have to do is we have to create a REST. We have to create a Apex class which will consume the REST API of destination org inside source org. So the Apex class we have to write first, which will consume the API. And finally, once the Apex class is ready, what we have to do is we have to call that Apex class from your trigger. Basically, the scenario is what? Scenario is whenever you create a lead, it will be created in the destination org. Whenever you update the lead, it will be updated in the destination org. Whenever you delete the lead, it will be deleted in the destination org. So in order to do that, right, you have to call this particular Apex class that you're writing line number 3 from your Apex trigger, right? Your Apex trigger will call your API and will try to give you the result. Okay, so these 4 steps that we are going to perform in next maybe like 1 or 2 videos. All right, so let's get started. The first thing, understanding how to create a REST API through custom Apex code inside Salesforce. Okay, let's do it in the next video. See you in the next video.